I'm Ashley Hawkins, and I am the manga librarian. And today let's talk about manga news. Just really quickly, I'm not going to be talking about what I read this week. I'm actually setting that aside right now. If you want to know what I read this week, I am currently doing a manga challenge with Nisla and the graphic novel Comics Roundtable from ALA. And you can check my Twitter and my Instagram and you can see everything that I've read. And actually I'm reading more than what I'm putting into the challenge because I'm reading more than 7 volumes a week, to be honest. I'm doing a lot of reading right now because of just various things that I've got going on. I have to do a lot of reading in order to kind of be on top of stuff. I'm in the middle of, because it's been highly requested, I am compiling videos that allocate top titles by grade band. So my next video is a K through 5 video, and then I'll be doing a middle grades video, and then I will have to break up high school a little bit. I haven't figured even out how I'm going to do that. That is something that I'll have to, that's a few weeks ahead anyway, because like I said, the next one is K through 5. Because like I said, you guys have asked for that, and that's what I'm going to do, and so there we go. And you know, I'm also doing other things. So I'm reading so much that telling you what I read this week is daunting and crazy, and I'm already throwing so many titles at you right now. If you're regularly consuming these videos, that I don't want to overwhelm you. So in these videos, I'm just going to talk about, so the manga news videos are just what's happening in manga. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So we're going to start with news from 7 Seas. 7 Seas is a manga publisher. They're a manga publisher that I really like. You know, I think I like all of the manga publishers, but I really appreciate 7 Seas for multiple reasons. And one of them is part of why I wanted to talk about them today, and that is their reader survey. Their reader survey is currently happening. The reader survey is actually a really important thing, and it's something that you should be aware of and also potentially utilize. So 7 Seas puts out every 1 to 2 months. They have it regularly ongoing. It's their survey to try and find out what titles everyone is interested in. For those of us who really are active in reading and acquiring manga, we regularly, whenever this survey is up or updated, we go and we complete it and we request the titles that we really want. So for me, every time I request Neko Karashi no Gena-san by Naratani Sensei, that's my thing. I've talked about it before. It's a gamer living with a cat. It's a manga that I really love. I always request that, and I always request the 12 Kingdoms, which is a high fantasy light novel series that was originally localized by Tokyo Pop back in the big manga bubble of the early 2000s that burst, and I really, really want that series back. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people who do, and I always request it, and I keep hoping. That we get it. And so it's a good place to like ask for specific titles, but also to just generally say what you would like to see the publisher publish. If you don't have particular titles in mind, which might be you, So you might not know like what's being published in Japan, or you might not have like some series that you passionately want to see, like I do. You might not be the crazy person who stalks a cat manga about a gamer, but you can put genres that you would like to see the publisher acquire more of. So I say this for you elementary school librarians, because I hear your complaints quite clearly. It's hard for you. You want manga because the kids want manga, but you also want it to be appropriate. So what you need to do is you need to go fill out the 7Cs survey and tell them that you want more children's manga. If you want the Japanese word for it, it's kodomo, Kodomo, kodomo. You want more kodomo manga. You want manga specifically for children. It does exist. There's a ton of it in Japan. It just doesn't get localized as much over here for various reasons. The older titles just sell better for them. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. We have a very vibrant graphic novel. There's just a lot of reasons. Children's publishing over here in the States is just very vibrant and alive, and there are a lot of things already being published, and publishers just find it easier to acquire things that are local. So in the United States, manga publishers a lot of the time will prioritize acquiring those titles that they know are going to have wider appeal, and I don't know. There's just all sorts of reasons, but I think they need to know how desperately you want it, because I think the people who are doing purchasing for children aren't necessarily involved in manga communities, and therefore manga publishers aren't aware the way I am, because I'm a librarian and I'm hearing from other librarians, I really, really need manga for children. And then I think there's a disconnect, because you're telling me, a fellow librarian, but the publisher isn't hearing this. So I put it on my reader survey because I've helped with some publishing for that level. So having recently done that, not publishing, purchasing, I've recently done some purchasing at that level, and I really do feel your pain, because even with my knowledge, I was not able to buy as much as I would like, and I really wanted to bring something more prolific than what I was able to, partially because there's not as much available digitally as I would like, but also because not as much is being published as I would like. So in my survey, I also said I would really like to see more kodomo. I would like to see more children's. I would like to see more moto. That's why I wanted to tell you about the survey. I'm putting the link to the survey down below. Fill it out and be honest about what it is you would like to see localized and published, so that you could give it to your patrons. And that goes not just for elementary people, that goes for all of us. Like, you know what you want more of for your patrons. If you want more sports manga, you want more of this, you want more of that, tell them. They'd like to hear from us, because we're the ones who talk to people who might not necessarily fill out the survey. So that's one thing. The second is that, honestly, this week they are going to be talking about a bunch of new things that are being licensed. I can't tell you what they are, because they are starting to talk about it today as I am recording this. Probably by the time I get this edited, they'll have announced several of the licenses. But throughout this week, the 17th through the 21st, they're going to be announcing 30 plus new manga and light novel licenses. So I would keep an eye on that. See what it is they're releasing, what it is that's going to be forthcoming. I'm guessing that most of it probably won't be coming out until about December or January, maybe even later than that. But get an idea of what's coming out in the industry. We'll see what it is. I can only speculate right now because, like I said, I'm a little before they've started announcing. I think they'll, as I'm recording, I think it's like an hour before they'll start rolling things out. You've probably heard of the manga Spy X Family. It's one of my personal favorite manga being published in Shonen Jump. Actually, I say one of, it is my favorite manga in Shonen Jump right now. It's the one that I always read weekly. I always check it out. I'm the most up to date on that in Shonen Jump. Others, I'm slacking. I try to stay up to date on like Shonen Jump stuff, but this is the one that I'm always like super stoked about. I love Spy X Family. It's so much fun. And it's getting a novel. So it's getting a light novel. And that is pretty exciting news. Everybody thought they were going to announce an anime, but they didn't. They said, basically the mangaka said, hey, I've got really big news, wait for it. And everybody was like, oh, it's an anime. It's totally an anime. No, it's not. It's a novel. Which is interesting. Because Spy X Family's been running for a few years now, and it's very, very popular. It's actually their most popular manga that doesn't have an anime associated with it, and actually it's doing better than some manga that does have, like for Shonen Jump. I'm not even just talking like other manga like in other magazines. We're talking, this is a Shonen Jump manga that's doing better than other Shonen Jump manga that has anime adaptations. So that's really big. There's gonna be an anime eventually. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. We'll see. There must be reasons why they're holding it close to their chest. We'll see. But right now there's a novel coming out. I can almost guarantee it'll get localized by Viz and translated. It's coming out in Japan, I believe, in October, so you probably won't see it until next year. Unless they really work hard on it, but Viz is not as fast with the localization and translation of prose materials as they are with manga, so we'll see. It all kind of depends. But hopefully, they've been pushing out more and more prose stuff. They haven't quite jumped into the light novel game as wholeheartedly as other publishers. So next is some Yaoi news. Yaoi and Boys Love news. We'll start with the good news first. Yeah, I guess it's good news. So, because there's good news and there's bad news. So the good news is that the outstanding manga Dick Fight Island has been a rousing success. So Dick Fight Island came out last week and just blew away all the competition. It was #1 in multiple categories on Amazon. I believe it's sold out completely in print in Canada. All sorts of ridiculous things. I don't know anybody who either hasn't read this or doesn't have it on order. Like everybody I know has this manga. I have this manga. I read this manga the day it came out. And I'm not even really a yaoi person. I've talked about this, or a boys love person. Um, I, but listen, it's very adult, it's very explicit, but it's a fun read. It, great art, uh, um, it's very ridiculous and excessive in a fun way. It's just kind of the sort of title that needs to be published right now because I think it's just the sort of mental break people need. And I think that's one of the reasons why it really took off. The other reason is just simply the title. The title really caught everybody's imagination and just made everybody have to read this. They also did an excellent job with the cover. Just, yeah, everybody, all the grown-ups are reading it. Obviously, this is the title you should not get for your school library. Do not buy it for your school library. Absolutely 100% do not buy it for your school library. Don't at me if you buy it for your school library because I told you not to do it. It's porn. It's flat out porn. Yeah, this is the title you buy for yourself and you put it away. I have it digitally. I didn't even buy it physical, obviously. So, and like I said, it's a fun read. I can't show you any of it at all. So, that's some news. The important thing to take away from it being number one in so many categories is first off, this is big for adult manga. It's big just in general for manga. That something is so highly successful. It's more proof of a lot of what Debe Aoki was talking about in her article last week. There just seems to be growing interest in the format from people who were not interested before, and we're seeing a lot of market growth, and we're seeing a lot of interest in the type of things that weren't wildly, like, we're not just seeing your standard shonen battle manga. There's a wider diversity of what's interesting. And then finally, not finally, because I have two bits of news. Next, on the downside for yaoi lovers, and something that I'll talk about why this could impact libraries. So yaoi has been banned from eBay, which caused quite the fervor over the weekend. So eBay has changed their policies. I'm not a prolific user of eBay. I'm just not. I don't have any reasons why I'm not. I'm just not. But there is a very big secondhand market on eBay for manga and anime goods. And this is pretty big for yaoi fans because a lot of stuff gets sold. That's actually how you can get a lot of back volumes, doujinshi, and a lot of out-of-print stuff from the manga bubble in the early 2000s. A lot of like Tokyo Pop titles and other imprints that no longer exist. If you're looking for something out of print, typically for manga collectors, eBay is one of the places they will check. And if yaoi is banned, then that makes things very difficult for a manga collector. And a lot of this stuff is not available digitally, so this makes things very difficult. As collection developers or somebody who might be trying to replace volumes that maybe have been damaged or lost or whatever, I know some people do source from like eBay to get these out of print titles. This is something to be aware of, that you might have some difficulty finding things, because what may happen is a lot of manga resellers might try and find alternative places to sell. They might turn to like Mercari or other markets, just because it's too hard to sell on eBay, because they can't sell a good portion of what it is they typically sell. So yeah, these are just things to kind of keep in mind. It's also, it's a censorship issue. For some reason, eBay thinks it's fine to sell, Hustler and Playboy and everything, but Yaoi is apparently off the table. And the big problem is that not all Yaoi is pornographic. So yeah, I just talked about Dick Fight Island that has infinite dicks and butts. I'm not gonna lie to you. But not all Yaoi is like that. Some Yaoi is actually very sweet and chaste and whatever, and perhaps it should be getting the label boys love if it is like that, but that's not necessarily always the case, and not everybody uses uniform terms, and it's just very difficult. And there's not too much I can say, because I'm not a fujoshi, so I'm not that big into yaoi, but I can give you some resources down below to people who are really into yaoi. So the podcast, The Yaoi Shelf, is a really great resource for these things. And also I'll link some tweets that kind of discoursed about this whole issue. So you can kind of get a fuller picture if this is something that might be impacting you. I think public librarians, this is something that could be an issue for you if you're if going on eBay and filling in gaps is something you commonly do. You might find more difficulty now doing that when you're looking for out of print titles, thanks to this new policy. And then the last piece of news, one that I just thought was really interesting. So there was a recent Japanese poll asking what title audiences would most like to see a live action Hollywood film made of, and the almost unanimous decision that all these Japanese pollsters selected was none. They would rather not see live action Hollywood film makings of any manga title. It was a landslide. It was very interesting. I'll link the article down below. It is in Japanese, but Google Translate will get you so far. And but yeah, there were a few titles that did make it onto the list, and they're very typical titles that you'd expect. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun to see just the absolute panning none, absolutely no. So that is that. That is the manga news for this week. I hope this was useful to all of you, and we will see you in the next video.